Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Daily for Thursday, the 25th of July. I'm your host, as always, Gav. This show is brought to you by Dan Designs UK. Dan is a young lad. He's a designer. He does stickers and all sorts of merchandise around Liverpool Football Club and other stuff on top of that. He's a really nice lad. Get on to him at danhendo27 on Twitter. You'll see his in his bio there. He has a link to his shop and stuff like that. We're giving away a prize tonight with Dan. So if you stay here and watch this and share it and different things, I will by the end of this come up with a way of giving away this prize. What the prize is, it's a surprise. Dan has given me a couple of suggestions. I'm going to announce the winner and link the two of you up, and then you can go from there, but you will win. Someone will win a prize tonight. A few bits to go through tonight. Mainly how we're not signing any players. A little bit on the stadium expansion. A little link that was sent to me about a half an hour ago, and that's about it. And of course, any of your questions, remarks, comments, all that sort of stuff. Loads of people in already, loads of regulars. How are we all? I hope we're all well. With me tonight is an extremely popular guest that comes on. He's the host of the Cop Table. He's a good friend of mine. I'm bringing him for a drink before the Norwich game. He doesn't know that yet, but it is happening. And that is Peter Phillips. Peter, not one to ever turn down a drink. Peter, how are you, first of all?
I'm very well, thanks, Gav. Good to be back on again and talk with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you didn't stay up for the match last night. Have you seen any highlights of it, or any sort of highlights packages, or have you seen any clips, anything along them lines?
Yeah, I was in work early on this morning, 6 o'clock, so I couldn't stay up and watch that one last night. But yeah, not long after I got into work and had done a few things, I settled down and watched the 10-minute highlights on the LFC channel. So yeah, it looked like by all accounts they played reasonably well. Things seem to be progressing a little bit more with the players coming back in. Looked like Gini Wijnaldum played up front, didn't he? Had a bit of a left forward role where Mane usually plays and gets himself a goal. But yeah, it seemed like a good run out for the lads. Other than the mistake by Mignolet, which we won't dwell on too much. I thought from the highlights they done reasonably well. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. To be honest with you, Peter, a quick summary of it. Liverpool started quite well. They were zipping the ball around, winning it well in midfield. A few touches were off here and there. Then there was the mistake by Mignolet, which was atrocious. Let's be perfectly blunt about it. Then Liverpool got into the game. They started to pick holes in Sporting Lisbon. Could have scored one or two before they actually scored. They get 2-1 up at half time. The second half is very open. A lot of players looking very leggy. Sporting Lisbon got an equaliser, and either side could have won it. But it was a good run out for 70 or so minutes for the starting 11, and then all the subs started to come on and stuff like that. But what the people, like, we stayed up and watched. There was a couple of us stayed up and watched. We had a bit of crack, myself and Grizz and the viewers on YouTube and Periscope. So it was a bit of crack. But again, another good run out. Frank says, was Bruno Fernandes any good last night? I thought he was quite impressive. I think people went a little bit over the top about him. He was good. He was the centre of kind of anything Sporting Lisbon done, but he was good in patches. He was. There is a bit of class about him. Absolutely. There was a bit of class about him. There's no doubt about that. Peter, there's another thing I wanted to touch on, and it's a link that was sent to me by a viewer. Just hit me up with it about a half an hour before we started, and that was and I'm going to try and remember the guy's name. I think it's Max Cornet. Is he from Lyon? Am I right in that, Peter? You might know more about this guy than I do.
Yeah, Maxwell Cornet plays.
Sorry, Maxwell Cornet. I keep calling him Cornet.
Yeah, he plays across the front three. I think he's left-footed. Yeah, had quite a good season. at Lyon by all accounts last season, and he's one of them players who fits the profile, if you like. He's probably going to be around the 20-30 million pound mark. He's not going to stretch our budget by too much, and possibly somebody who we could be looking at to bring him as cover for them front three. But he has been linked previously, so could be something in it. More than likely, he's been watched by the Liverpool scouts because the regulars over there, aren't he, watching the French league and all over Europe, really. So he's probably one that we've had an eye on for quite some time. If this link is to be true.
Yeah. So am I right in saying I'll put it. This is the real question I have about him. Can he play across the front three? Is the first question. And secondly, would you consider him a step up from, say, Origi and Brewster as a kind of challenger to the front three? Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think his position is more on the right hand side, more like where Mo Salah plays, okay, where he cuts in on his left hand side. But I'm sure there'd be scope for him to play on the left hand side if he's left footed and across the front three, really, because that's the type of player Klopp would be looking for, wouldn't it? But back to your previous point about whether he would be a signing for us. I'm not too sure, to be honest. It's one of them, isn't it? They're getting linked with players every single day now because the window's closing. There's agents to try and get the players out there. It's not just Cornet, isn't it? It's the Sancho link. It's obviously Klopp last night totally dismissed the Bale and the Coutinho rumours, which everyone thought there wouldn't be much in them anyway. Possibly Coutinho, but definitely not Gareth Bale. Yeah. So yeah, up until the window closes, I can see Liverpool, until they do make a sign, and being linked with players from all over the place, really.
Okay, Grizz is in the house. I can see Grizz on the on the comments there. He says yes to both questions, so he is a player that can play across the front three, and he will be a step up on Origi and Brewster as cover. I just want somebody that's a little step up from Origi and Brewster and can challenge these front three rather than just another kind of squad player, if you know what I mean. I want them to be able to challenge. Avi Hantra is in the house. Avi Hantra is the man behind the Bruno Fernandes transfer and move. Avi, if you're still there, how are you? If you're still there, do you still stand over your claims over Bruno Fernandes? If you do, I have the utmost respect for you. Why is nobody talking about David Neres? Says him, Frank. He's the perfect fit for us. Phil off the Trippers is a massive fan of him. I know Grizz is a massive fan of him, but nothing's being done, and I think maybe down to the fact that Ajax have lost a few, and they probably don't want to lose, much more. And it could be a case where they're drawing the line under it with losing, De Ligt. They've lost the lad in midfield, De Jong, is it? But Avi Hansra says he 100% stands over his Bruno Fernandes claim. Now the claim was last night that he'd be announced after the game, Avi, but I'm going to give you a little bit of leeway and let's call it Monday. Let's go for Monday, right? Let me see, what else did I want to talk to you about? You were mentioning before, Peter, before we come on, that Dortmund have been linked with a wide player, and could this be seen as some sort of replacement now or replacement for in the future for Jadon Sancho? Who's the player you mentioned before?
Yeah, there was a few rumours before. I got a couple of WhatsApp messages to say that Dortmund was interested in taking Malcolm from Barcelona, who's obviously a wide left, wide right player. I think he was going to cost around 40 to 50 million euros. If Dortmund was looking at him, it's just hypothetically, is he a possible replacement for the likes of Jadon Sancho, because he plays in a similar position. If Liverpool are interested and they do bring in Malcolm from Barcelona, does that give us scope then to go in and try and prize away Jadon Sancho from Dortmund this summer? Remains to be seen. But yeah, the guy Avi, who's been writing in, he has spoke to me privately after the podcast the other night, and he does say to me, and he's told me I can tell you guys what he knows, and he said what he's heard, it was Leon wanted to start a bidding war for Bruno Fernandes, but was told by his reps that that wasn't going to happen. So he was told then that he'd play some part in the game on 24th of July, and then the move would be confirmed after this game. But as of yet, obviously, it's not happened. There's still plenty of time for that to happen. But he reliably informs me that some work's being done with his agent, a guy called Miguel Pino, and he says he doesn't tell lies, if you like, doesn't spread nonsense rumours, and Fernandes is the only piece of transfer news that he's heard this summer. So yeah, it's come from Avi, it's not come from himself, but he seems to think that Fernandes could be one for us to keep an eye on, definitely.
Yeah. Somebody asked there, are we truly out of the running for Pepe? Chris asks that, sorry. Chris, the Pepe one is becoming stranger by the day, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, there was, going back probably 2 or 3 days ago, the start of the week probably, you heard all this stuff about Liverpool had submitted a bid. There was rumours of talks being done, and deals, Lille saying the deal was nearly done. A deal was nearly done, sorry, don't take me the wrong way, that it was a deal to Liverpool. Early today it came out that, or maybe last night, that he was speaking to Napoli. Certain reports have come out this evening saying that the Napoli deal doesn't look like it'll happen. I don't know whether it's the structure of the deal, that the money being paid. So it's Lille look like they're getting what they want, and that's a lot of interest around this player. There's talk now of 4 teams being in for them. Napoli being one, I think, was it Arsenal, United, and one other unnamed club, which is believed to be Liverpool. So listen, it's got agent commission is going to settle the Pepe deal, says Stephen. Yeah, you could be right. Wherever the agent can get the most out of it, it pushes player towards that. Dixon87 says, genuinely believe we will sign one. We'd be shocked if we didn't. Yeah, that's a fair point. Listen, we were on the Fatback 4 on Sunday, and myself and Matt and Grizz all agreed on at least one, and I think 2 of us went for 2 players. But it's getting to the stage now where are we 14 days from the window closing, so it's a little bit tight. It really is. Are we the unnamed club that have agreed terms with them? Asked Chris. I really don't know. There's varying reports coming out all over the place. I've seen something there. Have I bet on? Him Frank is asking. Has Avi Hanser bet on Fernandes to Liverpool? Avi will have to answer that. He will. United, Inter, Napoli, and an unnamed club. Sorry, that's the 4 clubs. I know Arsenal were touted. Were touted about Pepe probably a week to 10 days ago, but it doesn't look like Arsenal have the money. They could be gazumped for Zaha by Everton. If reports are to be believed. I want to go on to something else a little bit different, and I will keep an eye on the comments as we go. We might come back to what we've been speaking about, but the stadium expansion at Anfield, the Anfield Road end, has had planning permission for a certain amount of time now, a decent amount of time. It's come up again in reports, and the talk is that this expansion was going to be an extra 4,000 seats on the Anfield Road end, but it looks like it may be more, and bring it over to 60,000. What's your feelings on this, Peter? Because you're a local, you go looking for tickets, and your friends that go looking for tickets on a regular basis, because they're Liverpool based and they're looking to get the games. What do you make of this? Do you think it's just Liverpool deciding we actually do need to go bigger because of demand, or is it a way that they're going bigger to try put in, it'll make more profit with A, more seats, and B, more kind of directors' boxes and things like that? What's your feeling on this one?
Yeah, there's been some rumours for quite a long time now, hasn't it? And I believe that the plans have been in the pipeline to extend the Anfield Road to bring it up to scratch, if you like, with the other sides of the stadium, taking it to what's led to believe around 60,000 seater stadium. And obviously that's going to help the local fans and other fans coming over and from wherever to enable them to buy tickets for the game. But yeah, I think some of it will also be like a corporate section as well. Obviously the club are looking to make money from them sort of avenues, aren't they, with the main stand expansion, that's been very successful for them, and all the corporate stuff that they've got going on there. Obviously I'm a local, and I'm not one for the corporate side of things. I like to go on the stands and on the terraces with the rest of everyone. But as a one-off, I have been into the corporate, and it's a fantastic experience. Don't get me wrong, but on the other hand, it's great to be out there with all the other Liverpool fans on the terraces. So yeah, any sort of expansion for the stadium can only be a good thing for the club, really.
Yeah, I do get that. Listen, I'm all for the more seats they can get onto that ground, the better. You know, it's a no-brainer. You know, it's, for me, there is infrastructure problems, because if you know better than me and better than most, behind the Anfield Road end there's not a huge amount of space between that and what would be the new fan park behind the ground and the car park at that end. You know, there's talk of them building the stand up and out to basically have a road underneath it. There's all sorts of stuff going on like that. There's stuff about, if it goes over 60,000, there's certain criteria for infrastructure, i.e. buses, train lines, different things like that. So there's an awful lot. There's an awful lot to get around. But I'm all for it. I'm going to be a little bit cynical here, and I'm not usually. But do you think the talk of this stadium expansion, and then a few reports have come out today saying Liverpool are keeping their powder dry, but you know, building for a massive summer next season? Do you think it's just lowering expectations of fans for this transfer window and kicking the can down the road a little bit, or do you just think it's just sensible business practice in what they're doing? You know, because of the amount of money they've spent on, say, contract extensions, and you have Kirby being redeveloped, you have a possible Anfield Road extension. Do you think they're just being very sensible about it, and this is the result, or do you think they're just lowering, letting fans down, you know, gently for this season? What's your take on that one?
Quite possibly, yeah. But I think FSG, since they've took over, they've steadied the ship, haven't they? They came into the club when it was in a very poor position, took over from Hicks and Gillette, basically nearly going out of business, on the verge of going into administration, and they've turned things around fantastically well. There's nobody can argue with about the job that they've done, building the new stand, bringing Jurgen Klopp in, putting the team, providing the funds for the players, albeit some of them are from the income and transfer sales. So I just think that, yeah, FSG, they like to keep they like to run a tight ship, don't they? They don't really want to spend, if you like. I think that's pretty sensible. Like you say, it's good business practice, isn't it? You don't want to be going into lots of debt like Manchester United, for example, who's got a mountain of debt behind them, and having to keep one eye on that and then keep things on the pitch. So I think to keep a level playing field, it's sensible from FSG. And although we've brought in a lot of money from sponsorship deals and from the Champions League run last year, revenue from other avenues such as match day revenue. So, like Klopp said, they're a very wealthy club, and there's money there to spend if they want to spend that money. So I just think they're doing a good job, and I don't think anybody can really have a pop at FSG at this present time. And I'm sure if Jurgen Klopp does want to dip into the transfer window this summer or January, whatever, I think the money's there for him. Plus, you've got the sponsorship deal with New Balance runs out at the end of this coming season. Yeah. So there's gonna be money coming in that way, isn't there? Whether it's a Nike and Adidas or another deal with New Balance, they're gonna want a lot more money than what the original deal with New Balance. I think United get about £75 million per season, don't they? So I think Liverpool are going to be looking for something along them lines, being the champions of Europe and the club's at its most saleable time, if you like. So yeah, they're going to want a lot of money from the sponsorship deals.
Yeah,
in the future.
Absolutely. You know, someone there has said, you know, we stood still. I'm paraphrasing now because the comment's gone off the screen, but he basically said it should be at least 70,000. Sorry, I have it here. Darren says we need at least 70k. You can blame Moores for standing still in the 90s. Marketing was poor. I absolutely agree with you on that. I actually looked it up, and I think the last game before the Cup, the standing Cup went, and the attendance that day to the attendance in about 2010 was very, very little difference. Now I know you're moving a lot of standing people into seats, but we didn't really upgrade, and we did stand still. We didn't mark ourselves like United did and got a jump on everyone at the time. I'm completely with you on that view. Chris asks, Peter, who do you think will be the new kit sponsor? Just give me your answer, Peter, straight out. Who do you think?
Well, a lot of people seem to dismiss Nike as a possible sponsorship for after New Balance, but from what I can gather, FSG have a very good relationship with New Balance. I think they also cover the Boston Red Sox as well, don't they? So I think New Balance, if they want to step up to the plate and offer the sort of money, they'd be silly not to, because the revenue they must be getting back from the kit sales and from other merchandise and other training wear, if you like, trainers and all other aspects of their brand, then it'd be silly for them not to match any sort of offer that a Nike or an Adidas one would be. But I think it'd be between Nike and New Balance for the next sponsorship after this one runs out.
Yeah, a lot of rumour going around is that the Nike deal will actually be part of the Pepe deal, and they'll put up so much money and stuff like that. And it's not unheard of, you see all this stuff happening all the time. I know when wasn't Ronaldo moving to Madrid, I think there was rumour that was a short sponsors or had something to do with it as well, or his actual sponsors, might have been Nike at the time, had something to do with it. But Mbappe 2020 confirmed if we get Nike, says Ollie. Yeah, it could be. Kev O'Sullivan says they've got to safeguard versus a devalue in sterling. It's not what everyone wants to hear, but that's the truth. Yeah, it could be. It could be a case of that as well. We're gonna have to see, and we're gonna have to dig into it a little bit more over the next, days, weeks, and months with regards to the stadium expansion. Somebody else says there, and the comment's gone off the screen a couple of minutes, but I want to get back to it. Somebody says that has anyone seen the reports about the club trying to make money off the name of the city? I haven't seen that, but I am going to go and look at that when we finish here tonight.
What it is.
Right, Peter,
it is. The club have they want to trademark the name of Liverpool, but only in a football sense. It's very it's a tough one to get through, but I think they want to sort of trademark the name Liverpool in all aspects of the football world, if you like. They don't want anything to.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't. It's nothing to do with the city of Liverpool. It's nothing to do with anything like that. It's to do with they want to trademark the name Liverpool. I think they've already trademarked the YNWA, as in You'll Never Walk Alone. I think that's already been trademarked by FSG. So yeah. It's something that's been in the Liverpool echo. I've seen one or two people not too keen on it happening, but the club have, I believe, to have come out and said it's nothing to do with the city of Liverpool or anything like that. It's just basically to do with football alone and the football side of things.
Okay. I said before we started, or not before we started, because you wouldn't hear me. So that's a ridiculous thing to say by me. But when I started, I said this show was sponsored by Dan Designs UK. Now, Dan is going to give away a prize, and I've thought about how we're going to give it away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give people about 24 hours to get in gear and sort themselves out here. Like Stephen Fitzpatrick, he says, he's new here. Hi guys, hiya Stephen, you're very welcome. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pick a winner from YouTube subscribers. So you have 24 hours to subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to literally get the list up in front of me, stick a pin on it, and that's how we're going to win. I'll get your details off you then. I'll put you in touch with Dan. He will sort you out with a prize of his choosing. He's going to fix you up. So in 24 hours to be a YouTube subscriber to the LFC Day Trippers, it's very simple. Type in LFC Day Trippers on YouTube, find the page, hit subscribe, hit the little bell icon which gives you notifications of when we go live. And anyone that's subscribed there, there's 1,160 of you at the minute. Anyone there that subscribes will be in with a chance to win this. I have another prize coming from Carlton tomorrow, and I have a prize on Saturday coming from More Than a Game. Just to let you know, the times of the shows, tomorrow will be 10 PM. Saturday no, sorry, tomorrow won't be 10 p.m. Tomorrow will be about 3 p.m. And Saturday will be around 5 or 6 p.m. I'm going to confirm them. You'll know why when I get to the end of this show. There's a slight change for the next couple of days, but I'll explain that when I get to the end of the show in a couple of minutes. Is that all subscribers too? Absolutely. Anyone that's subscribed to this channel, by the time I pick this prize tomorrow evening, before I start, will be in with a chance. Frank says, are we signing the Cornet lad from Leon? We spoke about him already, Frank. Peter's not too sure. There's a couple of links. As I said, are we keeping our powder dry? I'm not too sure. Peter, anything else before we go?
Yeah, there's just one bit of news about the young lad Paul Glatzel who got injured against Tranmere. He's ruptured his ACL, and he's gonna be out for the remainder of the season, it looks like. So yeah, wishing him a speedy recovery. So yeah, bad news for him. He was one of the young lads, wasn't he? He was looking to push on from the 23s. He had a really good season last year alongside Bobby Duncan, and he was due to go to the Tour of America by all accounts. So yeah, really sad news for him that he's had to go and undergone surgery for an ACL rupture that he had against Tranmere Rovers in the first friendly this summer.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have Nathaniel Klein, who's done an ACL as well and will be out for about 6 months. So we wish them both a very speedy recovery. Peter, thanks for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always. I will definitely talk to you before we meet up in Liverpool for the Norwich game. We will have you back on, hopefully the next time, with a signing completed. The only thing is, if we do make a signing, Jay Riley has promised to come on this show only if we make a signing. So
he has told me.
You might have to play rock paper scissors with him to fight over who gets on.
We can both come on.
Absolutely, yeah. The more the merrier. Chris will definitely come on and say he's seen it happen from 28 months ago. Awesome pod, says Gav and Peter. Listen, thanks a million. Just before I go, and this is the last comment I'm going to make before I do go. There was a family bereavement in my family today. My grandmother died early this morning, and to be honest with you, I considered not doing this show right up until about 8 p.m. tonight, and then I just thought, what would she say? And literally what she would say was, come here, will you give over being silly? So I didn't be silly. I came on here. I'm glad I did. It's brightened up my day quite a lot on what's been a tough day, but because of that, I'm going
sorry to hear that, Gav.
Yeah, that's
condolences to the family, mate. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks a million, Peter. And look, it's brightened up my day. The vast majority of my family on my grandmother's side are Liverpool fans, have been. That's the reason I'm a Liverpool fan, to be honest. But it's brightened up my day. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back to you tomorrow. I will let you know early tomorrow as with regards to times. But it's been a pleasure as always. Thanks to Peter. Thanks to Dan Designs for sponsoring. Over now.